evening and welcome to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm Austin Edstrom standing alongside Brian Britt, and as always, we have the brilliant Austin Derbyshire working the cameras. We're in for a good race here tonight at the Super Speedway version of Atlanta. Can't wait to get this one kicked off.
Yeah, definitely an exciting one tonight, Austin. I'm very much looking forward to this one. And, man, you just probably got our producer red in the face, blushing right now. But what a race we have in store for us here. 80 laps here tonight at Atlanta Super Speedway. I don't know that this is going to be exactly like a Super Speedway, though, after 20 laps.
Yeah, sorry. I had a little bit more to that sentence, but my microphone cut off there for a second. I don't know what's going on. But hopefully it doesn't do that too much more throughout this race, because we're going to be calling every single second of this thing. It's going to be absolute mayhem as the trucks work their way around this mile-and-a-half speedway. Getting a little bit of a view here of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Obviously, well, it says it's in Atlanta, USA. I can tell you it's in Hampton, Georgia. But at an elevation of 135 feet, partly cloudy out there, so it's going to be a little bit colder in terms of track temp. But honestly, it's not keeping it down too much. Still 114 down on the track. Relatively hot for these guys here today.
Yeah, pretty warm out here, but definitely interesting to see how these guys play out. Of course, last week, John Lucido was able to get a victory, which was awesome to see. We've been seeing, I think, winners every week, different winners every week, which has been absolutely insane.
Yeah, looking at the points, we've got 6 different winners through 6 races. I do believe there's somebody not in the top 20 of points that has a W. I'm pretty confident. I don't think we've only had 5 races. Maybe I've got my number of races off. Oh, actually, sorry, our producer just said we don't have the win added for Lucido on here. So you look at Lucido in 12th, actually add a W to that win column, but the points should be up to date. Keegan Sabilo with a 4-point advantage over Andrew Hale, 20 points back to Jason Taylor in 3rd, and then it's pretty tight for that P3 position with Brian Lorenzo, James Harris, Jeff No, Brandon Ball, and even a couple other guys all competing for that 3rd place position. But it looks to be a 2-horse race up at the front of the field for the championship here with just a couple weeks left. I believe we've got 6 races exactly halfway through the season. But next up, we're in the penultimate week. I thought that this ran all the way through the season.
No, sir. I think you must not have been looking at the schedule.
My
Next
goodness.
week's race at Vegas, that's the championship, baby.
Sorry, I've been in Daytona all week, so I'm a little off with the with what's going on here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. But we'll get all that sorted out. In the penultimate race, it is definitely a 2-horse race at that point between Andrew Hale and Keegan Sabilo for that championship. And we're going to jump into Brian Britt's keys of the race.
Yeah, I do believe we got some really good keys here tonight. Tire wear will be a factor, even though this is a super speedway. You on paper it is, but with this fixed setup, tire wear is going to be a factor at about 20 plus laps. So keep an eye on that. Of course, save your fast repair. This is an accident-prone type racetrack. I mean, the quad oval, when you're going through there side by side, there's going to be accidents through there. Don't push the pusher. If you get in an accident, you do not want to lose that fast repair. Pit with friends. It does have that super speedway vibe to it. So you are going to want to have a friend when you pit to have that draft.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to pit whenever everybody comes down. You got to make sure you have a drafting partner, just like we saw last week at Daytona. We're going to move into our broadcast picks, though. I've got Tyler Meeks this week. I think that Meeks has shown a lot of prowess on the super speedway so far. We got 3 of them this season. He did really well at Talladega. Looked to be a challenger at Daytona, so I think he's going to be up there up front.
Yeah, I got Andrew Hale this week. I mean, I'm sure Keegan Sabilo is going to hate that because he's one of the horses in the race, but Hale's looking really strong. I think he's going to really step out tonight.
And our producer, Austin Derbyshire, has picked James Harris, who has been knocking on the door of victory lane all season, has just not been able to get it done. He's going to try to make it a perfect 7 for 7 in terms of different winners here tonight. And I got to point out, we changed them up. But last week, we picked the exact same 3 drivers. It's just...
Did we really?
In a different order. Yeah, absolutely. I think I picked Hale, you picked Harris, and Derbyshire picked Meeks. But we're going to run through our starting grid here. we're pretty consistent on the picks. Keegan Sabilo lining up in pole position with a 32.097. The only one to drop down into the 32.0 bracket here at Atlanta. Nicholas Casey going to be starting on the front row right beside him. George Young, James Harris going to round out the second row. Jason Taylor's going to be starting in 5th with Brandon Ball right beside him in 6th place. Garth Snyder's going to be starting in 7th with John Lucido, last week's winner, in 8th. Andrew Hale is going to line up in the 9th place position, and William Mann rounds out your top 10.
EJ DeBoer is going to be in 11th place. Ray Kennison's in 12th. Brian Thacker, 13th. Dan Hillewig starts in 14th. Tyler Meeks is going to be starting in 15th. He's got a long way to go to get through the field. 16th, Jeff, no, he's been doing fantastic. I've been really loving his consistency. 17th, Amir Boscombe, who is definitely looking to get him some good finish tonight.
Yeah, I think that right before our drivers all roll off and take the pace lap, this is a perfect opportunity right before the race starts to shout out Champion Power Equipment, the title sponsor of this series. This broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CPE has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the United States for the North American and world markets. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life, and powering the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series on iRacing. Can't say enough, can't give them enough credit for putting on this show week in, week out, every single season here on the iRacing service. A big thank you to them and the two other sponsors that we will get to later in the event as well. Looking at James Harris with that beautiful Champion Power Equipment truck right there. Also Green Mountain Grills, another one of our sponsors. Going to get to them in a little bit. But yeah, to your point with James Harris, what is it? Was it Darby that picked him today? I like that pick. I think James Harris, I mean, he's been knocking on the door all season. I feel like it's got to happen at some point.
Yeah, I agree. But I tell you what, I picked him. I think I've picked him multiple times this season, and he's never done it whenever I picked him. And I almost feel like that's because I picked him. I think Darby, he's picked the winner before. Maybe that'll be some good luck for James Harris.
I think Darby picks the winner most out of any of us.
He
I
does.
mean, it started with the Swift Mobile back on the NIS Open last season, and it just seems like every time he picks somebody, they're legitimately at the front, which throws me for a loop. I'm a little confused. I didn't think a Canadian would have the two Southeasterns beat whenever it comes to NASCAR knowledge.
But it's like, what is it in Back to the Future, how they got that sports almanac? I think he's got a sports almanac of the future here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series.
Unfortunately, I've never seen Back to the Future, so I don't know
I
don't know the reference.
You're out of the broadcast. So both of y'all are out of the
broadcast. Man, both the Austins have never seen
such a classic movie, man.
Oh man, hey, that's all right. I haven't seen a classic movie, but we're gonna see an absolute classic of a banger here today of a race. King and Sabilo as a pace car pulls off, coming out of Atlanta, turn number 4. Nicholas Casey to his outside, coming to that green flag, and the green flag is out in the air. We are racing from the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Quite a stack up there for 5th place. I think I saw Jason Taylor barely get going. That kind of checked up Garth Snyder there quite a bit. 3 wide already as we haven't even completed the first lap here. As you can see, the 73 last week's winner, John Lucido, out of the gate, ready to go.
Yeah, Lucido won the race last week from being unbelievably aggressive in the last 15 laps, sticking his nose in the middle on multiple opportunities, was looking to make it 3 wide there, coming down the front straightaway into turn number 1, trying to pick up a couple of positions. Don't think that he picked up any spots, but you can kind of see that aggressiveness already from the beginning, and this racetrack just really lends itself to that. It really treats the aggressive style of driving to get up to the front. We see it again, Lucido through the middle, going side by side for 2nd place now, right behind our race leader of Nicholas Casey.
Whoa! I mean, this could end in catastrophe, and it is. There's some contact.
It's not.
What a save from Lucido, because James Harris gave him a little bit of a bump. I don't think he appreciated that.
Yeah, Lucido got a little sideways off the nose of James Harris there. And one of your keys to the race was save your fast repair. Well, whoa. I don't think. Oh, Lucido again getting clobbered there by the 48 coming down across the racetrack. Kind of taking that bottom lane away from the 73. Tough racing here in the early going. But to my point, what I was saying earlier, I don't think that these guys care about saving that fast repair.
No, I think a lot of anger is playing out right now. I got to be honest. I feel like there's a lot of unhappiness on the racetrack being displayed. As you see some blinking there from the 86 of Nicholas Casey in that Gorilla Gas machine.
Yeah, it was a little scary. Nicholas Scott just completely blinked out there through the center of 3 and 4. And I think he's getting out of the way just of our front guys here just to make it a non-issue. Really, really smart here in the early going, just to kind of jump out to the outside line, let the pack go, get his internet issues figured out just a little bit. Obviously, him qualifying into 2nd place. He knows how to get it around this racetrack relatively well, which, don't get me wrong, Atlanta qualifying is just holding it to the floorboard and getting around the bottom of the racetrack as fast as you can. But hey, it just means that he can do it a little bit better than everybody else in solo car speed. I think that we'll see him back up towards the front in no time.
Well, from what I've heard, Austin, the right front tire wear is going to be the big deal here. And I think from what I've heard, that actually makes the car tighter as the run goes on. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Now, so what do you do to alleviate that? Do you lift a little bit? What can you do? Do you just not run full bore like you usually would? I mean, does that kind of concern you that guys are running so hard?
Yeah, a little bit, and I think that they'll kind of come to acknowledge the right front problems as we get on in this race. After we put on those first, that next set of tires, I should say, I think that maybe we'll see a little bit more calmness at the beginning of the next green flag run. But yeah, to save it, I would just lift going into the corner a little bit, right? You're tucked up behind somebody, you got the dirty air, so you know you've got to turn the wheel a little bit more than you would normally rolling single file or just by yourself. But here in the big pack, you just got to lift off the throttle just a little bit, not 100%. You don't want to get all the way out of the gas. But going into the corner, just roll out of it a little bit, down to 70, down to 50, down to 35%, and just roll through the center of the corner, let the truck rotate itself, and don't really force it with the wheel. You want to keep that wheel as straight as possible to save that right front tire. And to do that, a little bit of contact sends the 29 to the wall. William Mann, I believe, getting into the fence. But yeah, if you can keep that wheel straight, and the way to do that is by letting off the gas a little bit, getting into the corner. But William Mann just getting suction cupped up to that wall, falling all the way back throughout the field.
Yeah, man, William Mann Jr. just having some tough times hitting that wall. Hopefully that truck's okay. I don't know if he hit it hard. It looks like it's okay. But we did see an almost change for the lead. Keegan Sabilo went up a little bit. That allowed George Young to get underneath them, but it looks like I think Sabilo was able to get back clear. Young still looking to try to get underneath. Now, I think clean air is going to be key here. I think that's what's allowing Sabilo to probably save tire a little bit better. He's going to not get quite as tight as the rest of these drivers, because you know how it is when you get that aero push in the draft.
Absolutely. We were talking about it just a minute ago with a little wreck in the back. Someone going hard, right front first, into the outside wall. Eric DeBoer spinning down to the inside of the racetrack. Ooh. The driver of the 8. Oh, somebody else on the front straightaway. Brad Thacker slams the outside wall at the start-finish line, and the caution flag is flying.
Yeah, the 56 missing his front bumper. That truck is probably going to barely make it to pit road. You can see the tires barely hanging on to that race truck. He is having a time. I hope he can make it there. It seems like, I think his engine's still running.
I think I said 2 wrong first names there. It's actually EJ DeBoer, not Eric DeBoer, and it's John Thacker, not Brad Thacker. I don't know what I'm thinking here in the early going here of this one, but
I understand John, because John, it's on our telemetry that it says John, but of course, I do believe he prefers to be Brad.
Oh, I said Brad. Okay, then I'm good. See, I slept all day from driving home from Daytona all night last night, so it's a little tough for me.
Oh, that's the initial crash.
Was it Thacker that got into him in the middle of 3 and 4, and then he gets wrecked coming off of turn 4? Oh, he just cuts across Tyler Meeks' nose coming out of turn 4. Meeks not really lifting, but I mean they're so far off the pack, they're trying to stay in the draft there. And Thacker just kind of comes down in front of the nose of Tyler Meeks all of a sudden, coming out of the corner.
Yeah.
Kind of wrecks himself off the nose. Unfortunate there that 2 of our drivers are going to have to use a fast repair in the early going, but actually EJ DeBoer has left the server, so I think that he's calling it quits on the night.
Yeah, I think both of those accidents were definitely connected, for sure. I mean, Brad got into DeBoer in the first crash, and he still has yet to make it to pit road. He's still trying to drive around the track right now. I think he's coming to pit road now. I think he was waiting until pit road would open. I don't know. With the severity of the damage, I would have came down as soon as I could. But let's take another look at it right there. Yep, Brad just gets underneath the 8, gets up into him a little bit there, spins the 8. We'll keep looking at this. I think he tries to maintain momentum, gets loose, comes down in front of Tyler Meeks, and hopefully Meeks didn't get anything out of that. I think he should be okay.
Yeah, Meeks will be fine. He didn't have any major contact, just a little bit of a bump using his front bumper to the back end of Brad Thacker, but it was really just enough to get Thacker loose, not enough to do any damage to either the front or the rear end there of Thacker. It's just unfortunate that Thacker had to go hard into the outside wall and give himself a lot of damage, having to come down pit road using that fast repair here in the early going. And I do want to mention, we do have a YouTube chat up top, so if you want to throw something in there, you could be a little a little shifty with it, and get your message put up on the top right here of our screen. You see Grid Vision posting, who do we have winning tonight? Nobody messaged yet, but I want to hear y'all's picks. Give us some picks. Who do you think's going to win this one in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series? But I feel like this is a perfect time. Early caution. Give ourselves a little bit of a breather to kind of talk about Green Mountain Grills, the front hood sponsor of the 55 of James Harris. They're back in 4th place. As you can kind of see, James Harris is introducing Green Mountain Grill, where innovation meets flavor, and your grilling experience reaches new heights. Are you tired of the same old grilling routine? Elevate your barbecue game with Green Mountain Grills, the ultimate choice for enthusiasts who crave precision, performance, and mouth-watering results. Now, why should you choose Green Mountain Grill? Well, it's their smart control technology, versatile cooking options, quality craftsmanship, wood-fired flavor, and they are easy to use and easy to clean. Ready to transform your outdoor cooking experience? Choose Green Mountain Grill, where every meal is an adventure and every bite is a masterpiece. Upgrade your grilling game today by visiting www.greenmountaingrills.com.
Man, you're making me hungry. That's for sure.
You say that every week. Something tells me you're just always hungry.
Yeah, I guess so. I love this, though. Call from Keegan picking the top side here. I'm wondering what the thought process is here. I mean, of course, he's going to get probably a better launch, or could he be communicating with the 48 and trying to work something out?
I mean, they definitely could be, but I feel like this is just the leader is going to get a good enough jump because they get to control the restart here after the first start. Obviously, everybody kind of goes on green, but everything after that, the leader has to control. So I feel like Keegan Sabilo here just picking that outside, knowing that he's going to get a big enough jump to clear the 48 before he gets down into turn number 1. And I think that he'll be able to get down to the bottom of the racetrack and get himself that clean air on the bottom. And, you know, we're still on that first set of tires. I do believe we're going to start seeing some of that wear a little bit here from the guys up front. But for everybody running the bottom of the racetrack, I feel like they're going to have to start migrating up to the middle in due time, as long as this green flag run stays and we don't have another couple cautions.
Yeah, we got 3 people on new tires in the back, so that's going to be curious to see how that works.
Keegan Sabilo leading us down to the green flag. You can see he's already clear of the 48 before they even get to the restart zone, staying in his lane until we get to that start-finish line, and then Sabilo ducking down to the inside, covering off the 48. Really staggered restart here. I'm kind of surprised to see everybody just kind of single filing up in the top 5, and nobody could really get going there. On the outside groove is, oh man, James Harris all over the back bumper here of the 48. Trying to get a run, trying to look to the outside, trying to get side by side for that second place position. He side drafts the 48 all the way down the back. They're side by side for second.
I got to be honest. I think I might have been onto something there. I think the 48 and the 77 were working together, because you could tell the 48 was backing off quite a bit on that restart, and the 55 is pounced on the opportunity. But here comes the 73 of Lucido, and they're 3 wide further back, and even that's Tyler Meeks going for 6th.
Oh, Andrew Hale just gets squeezed into the outside fence. They were 3 wide there. Tyler Meeks got on the apron, came up, kind of spooked the 47 of Kinnison, I believe, and then Kinnison put Andrew Hale into the fence coming out of turn number 2. Andrew Hale's going to completely lose the draft here. That's our second place driver in the championship standings, seeing his championship hopes kind of fly away as Keegan Sabilo is up front, his championship contender.
Yeah, if something doesn't happen to help him, this is going to just kill his chances next week at Vegas. He needs to have a good points day today in order to really contend with Keegan. Keegan's right now at the front of this field, but still something could happen that could go not Keegan's way. You got to keep in mind the people that are around Keegan are not going to let him win this race. The 48 now side by side for the lead.
Yeah, they're going for the lead every single lap. Aggressive racing all throughout the pack. Keegan Sabilo still up front, but that outside line's got a huge head of steam coming off of turn number 4. James Harris pushes George Young clear of Keegan Sabilo on the inside groove, easily taking the lead away from the 77. And Harris tries to squeeze the 77 down through 1 and 2, able to clear him and able to get side by side for the lead coming out of the corner.
Yeah, James Harris, you could just tell that driver is motivated.
He's hungry, man. He's got the grill on the front end like you were talking about. He's hungry like Brian Britt up in the booth.
That's right. And, of course, he's got his friend that passed away recently on the deck lid, so I'm sure he's got a lot of motivation to win this race. I mean, last week he really wanted to win it and kind of feels robbed, and here he is today, showing that he does not give up. As you can see, Cheryl Roberts on the back end. I do believe she had some heart issues and passed away, so definitely want to give our condolences to her family. But great to have James Harris, kind of carrying her on his car.
Yeah, second driver that we've seen here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, kind of carrying a fallen member of their family or friend, on their back bumper. Really cool to see that here twice this season. Heartbreaking that they have to, but really, really cool kind of tribute to them that we get to see in the middle of iRacing. One of the few sims where you can really kind of, or one of the few games where you can really kind of show that stuff is the racing sims with the paint scheme. So really awesome that you even get the opportunity to do that. But to your point, they're side by side for that race lead. Keegan Sabilo was not content with allowing James Harris to lead this thing. He jumps to the outside groove right in front of the 48, and now they're powering back to the lead on the outside.
Yeah, we're almost getting to that 20-plus lap range on these tires. Of course, we did have a caution to kind of cool them back down a little bit. They're running fairly close to their fastest laps. That last time they were a little bit slower, so I'm not sure. I think we're starting to see the degradation of those tires. This last time by, they were about 0.2 slower than their fastest. And I noticed that James Harris seemed like he was getting tight. I think that bottom line is going to be the line that starts to get the tightest.
I agree 100%. Whenever they're side by side, it just means that they have to tug on that wheel a little bit more coming out of the corner to keep it off the drivers on the outside groove. So I feel like whenever you're side by side, oh man, big contact going into turn 1. Keegan Sabilo getting a little squirrely, able to hold on to it. But if you're on the bottom of the racetrack and you're just trying to wrap it around the bottom the entire way, at most super speedways, it's not difficult. Oh, James Harris goes to the inside, 3 wide, dipping below the red line, and they're wrecking at the back. Kennison hard into the outside wall. A couple other drivers were involved that maybe spun the 47 around, but that's going to bring Andrew Hale right back into this thing.
I'll tell you what, if that caution net came out, I think we'd have got another one. Because
I agree 100%.
Sabilo and Harris were getting ready to wreck each other. I mean, I got to say, I love Harris to death, but I don't know what he was thinking there. Let's take a look at this crash.
He got lucky that Sabilo was playing nice, because that very well should have wrecked the field. You know, dipping down under the apron, coming down to turn number 3. That's a bit of a reckless move, I gotta say, from James Harris. That was a little sketchy as we look back towards the back of the pack. Kennison here side by side with Thacker going down into turn number 1. Kennison in that bright green truck on the outside, the number 47. Just gonna try to get an idea what happens to him coming out of turn number 2. He sees the stack up in front of him. Oh, that was the wrong replay, so we're going to have to back it up just one more time. But we see Harris dipping to the inside whenever there's really not room. Sabilo lets him have it. And then the 86 just drifts up the racetrack, entering turn number 3. I think that could have a something to do with the tires kind of going off at the front end of that thing, right? You were talking about the tires getting worn out. I think that he might have just gotten really, really tight entering turn number 3.
Yeah, I think that's probably exactly what happened there. We'll take another look at it here. Right there. No, I don't know if that's got anything to do with that. I think that's just more of took the entry a little wide. I don't think that's getting tight.
Yeah, it looked like he forgot to turn. I mean, it was I don't know. He definitely just drifted way up the racetrack. You know, a tight
Maybe
condition, you see
awareness?
him scoot up just a little bit, maybe like half a lane, but that was pretty aggressively to the right going down into the corner.
Yeah, I think it might have just been lack of awareness for a second there. I don't know. Luckily, Kennison's still able to drive. That's a good thing.
And he should still have that fast repair as well, so he'll be able to get that thing fixed up and contend for this thing. But we're going to take our first commercial break of the evening here on caution number 2. Be sure to stick with us as we still have 65 laps to go.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coming out of turn number 4 right here. 2 new contenders up towards the front of the racetrack, or towards the front of the field. William Mann Jr., Brad Thacker up in first and second. Elected not to pit under that last caution. William Mann Jr. leads us to the green flag here from that bottom lane in the 29. He's going to easily clear the 56 of Brad Thacker there on the outside, going down into turn number 1. And he's got perennial race leader Keegan Sabilo right behind him. And Sabilo's not content with second. You can just tell from the 77, he wants that lead as soon as possible, but James Harris stays on the inside of the racetrack and gives a huge shove to the driver of the 29 on the inside, while Sabilo just does not have the help.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, but I don't think Harris is just going to stay behind the 29 because the 29's on older tires, and I think that's going to cause him to be, I'd say, a little bit of a disadvantage. Ooh. You can just clearly see the handling of the 29's not there, and the 77 caught a bad break, getting caught behind him now, and that's what he was trying to avoid the whole time by going up to the top. But like you said, did not have help.
Yeah, that outside line just has not really been getting going. It doesn't stay formulated here on the restarts. It takes about a lap and a half, 2 laps for them to really get a good line of cars lined up going down to turn number 3. We finally see 4 drivers nose to tail all lined up trying to push that 29 to the front of the pack. Trying to get to the outside of John Lucido. They're in the 73 here through the first kink of the dogleg. Not quite able to get there just yet. Kind of surprised to see Lucido stay to the bottom of the racetrack. He's been so aggressive the last 2 plate races. I expected to see him pull up in front of the driver of the 29. He elects to stay down on the bottom of the racetrack, though, right behind Tyler Meeks for now. Kind of looking towards the middle, but not quite having enough pace to force that thing 3 wide. Just has to stay in line behind Tyler Meeks. Ooh! Meeks gets on the apron just a little bit. Thought he was going to get squirrely. He hangs on to it down into 3 and 4.
Yeah, Meeks is looking very unpredictable right now. I'd be a little bit scared to be behind him, but looks like he's giving some big bumps to the back end of the 55 right now, getting them going as James Harris is in control. Last time by, turned his fastest lap of the race. Brandon Ball, he's moving up to this field, trying to get his way up into the top 5. As we see somebody down on the apron, the 86, Nicholas Casey, going back to the back of the field.
Yeah, second time we've seen Casey pull out of line. I think he's just trying to hang on to that thing here in the early going. Still plenty of time left. 54 laps to go, coming to 53. It just kind of makes sense to drop out of it at this point. Don't waste that fast repair here in the early going. Don't tear up that race truck, and keep it available to use. Keep every little bit of it available to use here at the end of this thing. You know, these super speedways, half of it is just about being there for the last 5 laps, right?
Look at this. I mean, even though I do believe William Mann has at least 10 or so lap older tires. I don't know exactly how older his tires are, but Keegan Sabilo has managed to push him up to side by side with the lead here. So, man, 29 doing a pretty good job working that top side along with the 77. And the 56 of Brad Thacker we saw earlier have major repairs needed. He's up in the top 5.
I think that just goes to show how good that outside line can be, right? I mean, you just kind of pinch that inside line down to the tighter turn radius of the inside of the racetrack, and it just kind of prevents them from getting as much speed coming off the corner as they need. That outside line can just roll the outside all the way by the wall if they really want to. Let that wheel open up coming out of the corner and get a good run, a good push from the 77 every single time through the corner and out of it. But you got to think, I do think that that right front tire will start wearing for the 29 a little bit quicker than the rest of these guys, and he will have a little bit of trouble hanging on to the front of this pack as this run goes on. You can see that it's okay for now because he's only got 10 laps on the tires, but as soon as he has 20 and everybody else only has 10, I think that you'll start seeing him fall back towards the back of the pack.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. You said it would take a couple laps to get that top groove working, and I think that's exactly what was the truth, man. You definitely hit that right on the head as Harris is still in the lead, trying to hold on. But, man, one thing I'm noticing about this style of racing that even more so than Daytona is that it seems like anything can go wrong. So, I mean, it just had a moment's notice. I mean, they are packed in there so close like sardines that if one little false movement, just a little hair of a movement wrong, this could cause catastrophe.
Yeah, I know a lot of people miss the old Atlanta, and you know I'm on that list as well. I love the old worn-out abrasive surface that we used to have here at Atlanta. But I gotta be honest, I like the super speedway hybrid we've got going here at the mile and a half track. I think it's relatively interesting. I don't want to see these everywhere, but I kind of like having 2 races at this kind of hybrid style of super speedway racing because it's not quite the same thing as Daytona and Talladega. Daytona and Talladega, you don't have to worry about your tires at all, but you do at Atlanta, right? That right front tire wears out really, really quick.
Yeah, you still have to worry about it here, that's for sure. And but one thing I think that's even scarier about this place in real life is the quad oval, how those angles come up so narrowly. The angles that's really dangerous. I feel like if you have a blown tire in the quad oval, you might lose your life. Like,
I gotta be honest, I think that they really designed the quad oval poorly. I don't think that we should have a super speedway quad oval. They need to all be tri-ovals because like you said, the angle of impact, if you get right reared through one of those kinks is a perfect 90-degree head-on impact. And they only have to turn you 45 degrees, and it gives you a perfect 90-degree impact. And that's a problem. I think that we could see some really nasty accidents here in real life that could legitimately hurt some people. So
Yeah.
I hope that they reconfigure that front straightaway at some point, because I think that they did a really, really piss-poor job of that.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's something that you know, I've noticed. I mean, we've seen it at tracks like Pocono, to where that angle can really hurt somebody. But look at this, we got some drivers driving through the field. The 63 of Dan Hillowig, he's up to 5th place. Haven't talked about that driver at all.
Yeah, Hulu working his way up towards the front of the field. But as we were mentioning earlier, with the outside line with Man Jr., he was able to hold on for a few laps. But now that those tires are starting to wear out a little bit more, that driver, the 29, is dropping through the pack. Multiple drivers have dipped out from the outside line, realizing that he just doesn't have the speed because he's got that older right front tire. And they've been dropping. Now, they look to have a little bit of speed coming down the back straightaway every lap, and they are able to get a decent run to where they can maintain position. But through the corners, it seems like they are struggling really heavily there on the outside with Man Jr. leading that line.
Yeah, and I feel like Keegan Sabilo is just probably looking for some sort of opportunity to get down and stop having to push him. Oh, little contact with the wall there from Man. But I think in a lot of ways, Keegan's probably scared to try to pass him. Oh, he's trying to. 3 wide for a second there. As you can tell, Keegan's like, I got to get by you. I have to. As it looks like some movement up to the top has happened, James Harris moves up.
Yeah, James Harris and Tyler Meeks both moved to the top side of the racetrack, which has actually saved William Mann Jr. a little bit. It was able to give him the draft to suck him up to the front, back right on the back bumper of Meeks. Side by side for that 5th place position is Mann Jr. in the 29. And now they're side by side for the race lead with John Lucido challenging last week's winner in the 73. With James Harris and Tyler Meeks moving up to the top of the racetrack. John Lucido now has Brandon Ball all over his back bumper, pushing him up to the front of the pack on the inside.
Yeah, and I really think that last week's win there for Lucido has really done a number on his confidence. It has really just re-engaged him to, of course, we knew he was aggressive. We knew he wanted to win, but I think he knows he can do it now.
Yeah, confidence is a hell of a thing in racing, right? Oh, spinner in the back! I can't quite tell who that is sliding down on the apron of the racetrack. Hulawig hanging on to it. What a massive save. He was drifting all the way through 1 and 2, able to hang on to it on the apron, off the apron, on the apron, and back off. Hell of a save there from Hulawig.
And he's going to stay in the draft, I do believe. He's right behind the 1 of Jeff No, so he fell all the way back to 14th. But I think he's going to be able to stay in the draft. Tire wear, I think, is starting to really impact these drivers. We're seeing lap times falling off by about 0.3 to a half a second.
Ooh, James Harris gets sideways through 1 and 2. Lucido had to take evasive action. Now Man Jr. dipping down to the inside right in front of Keegan Sabilo. Sabilo just can't get rid of Man Jr. You can tell he's trying to get around that 29, switching lanes every chance that he gets. But the 29 just seems to find the 77 every opportunity. But finally Sabilo gets to his outside, side by side for that 5th place spot. Trying to push that outside groove up to the lead as Lucido cuts the dog leg there. Just trying to do everything he can to lead at the line. Not quite able to do it. Tyler Meeks and James Harris both clear the 73. They look down to the inside and they do take it. Oh, Brandon Ball now sideways.
Ball
back in front of the field, able to saves it. Oh, John Lucido gets turned hard into the outside wall in front of Keegan Sabilo. The 15 of James Taylor goes hard into the inside as well. Jason Taylor goes hard into the inside wall as well. Multiple drivers involved in that accident coming down onto the back straightaway.
Wow. Did they put ice on this track? Because it seems like they are all getting very sliding away here tonight.
Oh man, and the accident really had nothing to do with Ball. Ball did a hell of a job. Oh, unfortunate for Ball, he gets a little contact in there. Probably gonna have to take a. I don't know. He can probably get that fixed without the fast repair, but still a tough accident there. The 15. Surprised he doesn't have more damage on that thing, but I imagine he'll have to use his fast repair. He'll have to get another replay of that. It happened up front. It was Lucido and Sabilo coming out of turn number 2. Lucido, I believe he reacted to Tyler Meeks kind of coming down the racetrack in a weird way after he had drifted up high. Ends up, I mean, they do go hard into the outside wall, but Lucido and Sabilo do a good job hanging on to that thing. I don't know if they're going to have to use their fast repairs either, but that ended up being pretty heavy contact there for the 73 and 77.
No, it definitely did. I think Sabilo got out of it fairly okay. I don't think he really got too much damage on that. I think the person that got the most was Lucido. Look at it.
Yeah, he got some right front there for sure.
He went right into the wall. I think Sabilo probably got out of that with probably just a little bit more paint than anything.
Yeah.
But
good
still.
Save. Good save coming off the fence for Lucido, but I do gotta say, I think that he saw Tyler Meeks get loose in front of him and just kind of drifted off the bottom of the racetrack in reaction, and I think that that's what caused that one.
Ugh.
Just kind of a bang super speedway wreck that, we've had 3 freaking super speedways. It's just, you get those kind of accidents here at these tight racetracks where everybody is just inches apart, and in Atlanta, it's even harder, man. We've talked about it only being a mile and a half, it being a little bit of a hybrid of a super speedway, and I think that that's just kind of the issue that we saw that time by.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too has been, as I mentioned, I think it seems like they've put ice on the racetrack. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the tire wear. I thought we were going to be dealing with more of a tight issue, but I'll be honest. From what I was seeing there, guys are getting loose. Guys are looking like they are twitching and almost it even could be a tight loose, a push loose, if you will.
Yeah, I think that we just start seeing, people struggling on the tires after about 10, 15 laps on them, right? It kind of goes into that loose condition. You can burn that right rear just as much as you can burn the right front, and I think we're seeing some of those right rear issues coming into play, coming out of the corner. But, these guys just need to manage their tires a little bit better, and something that they could do to manage their tires a little bit better is contact Blackstone Management Partners. Blackstone Management Partners guarantees an unrivaled one-on-one approach with every client, providing them the solutions and services required to keep their dynamic brands thriving and one step ahead of the ever-changing consumer marketplace. Blackstone comprises expertise in marketing, communications, talent management, and event management. Working with our clients, we not only use traditional, but state-of-the-art platforms, including mobile marketing, experimental marketing, and cause-driven marketing. Visit www.bsmpartners.com for more information. And just a heads up, they probably can't teach you how to tire manage, but they can manage everything else for you.
I was getting ready to put a disclaimer on there too. I was like, ain't no way. They're going to be like, hey, we got people asking us, can you help us manage our tires? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they might be getting some calls that don't actually have anything to do with what they're doing. But hey, that just means that we're going to make them better because they're going to have to learn how to manage tires so that they can teach other people how to manage tires.
I'm going to tell you one thing that's going to have to be managed here is Dan Hillewig. He's on 20-lap-old tires. And we saw he actually almost spun out earlier. So his tires are probably even worse than what we think.
That's a great point. He was sideways in the middle of 1 and 2, just a couple laps before that caution.
This is kind of scary. I think we could even see some wheel spin here.
20 you can see that pit strategy
there.
A lot. You can see the pit strategy. Even the guys that have 0 laps and they have a really short pit stop, I believe that they came in right before that and put 4 tires on it, but they just came back down to top off with fuel. Don't quite know where the fuel limit is on this one, so they could be able to make it. Oh, 57 on. Well, they're plenty good. But coming back to the green flag, Hillewig on those old tires, going to lead the field to the green. Got to think he's going to be a sit duck, though, with 20-lap old tires, and he slid the absolute mess out of them. It'll be hard to see, or it'll be tough to see him actually hold on to that race lead. Going down to turn 1, holding the bottom side of the racetrack, holding on from Tyler Meeks and James Harris on the outside. And Harris is just, he's not content with falling in line. He's going to side draft the ever-living hell out of the 7 there on the inside. And then able to get the huge run on Hillewig coming out of turn number 2. Meeks ducks to the outside. I think they know Hillewig's just got the old tires. He's going to drop like a rock versus all of these newer tires on the 1.5 mile super speedway. James Harris, Tyler Meeks, William Mann Jr., and George Young all going by on the outside. And finally, Andrew Hale is up towards the front of the pack after his half spin earlier. And John Lucido, who was just involved in that last accident, is fighting for 5th with him.
Yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to William Mann Jr. His call to stay out earlier in this race, it might have looked crazy, but it got him track position. It got him track position, and he was able to take us a pit stop, get the tires he needed, and now he's in the fight for the win here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now he's got the tires that he needs, so he's actually able to stay up here and fight, right? He's not just kind of hanging on, trying to hold on to the fringes of the top 5. He's able to challenge for that race lead as he gets to the outside of Tyler Meeks for 2nd place.
Whoa,
man, Hillewig off the bottom of the racetrack. Those older tires, he's struggling going down into turn number 1. They're 3 wide, coming off of turn 2 with Andrew Hale, John Lucido. Lucido trying to get by, but he gets side drafted all the way down the back straightaway from Hillewig. Able to clear him down into turn number 3, though. Lucido up into P5, still side by side with Andrew Hale, though, for that position.
You got to think that the 73, Josh Lucido was probably sweating trying to get by the 63. He was like, please don't hit me, please don't hit me.
Oh, man, he makes it 3. Holy cow, John Lucido to the inside on Tyler Meeks. Meeks is not happy about it, driving him all the way down to the apron of the racetrack. They're beating and banging through 1 and 2. Still 3 wide coming out of the corner. Lucido, Meeks, Andrew Hale all fighting for 4th.
This has been a very physical race. These guys are fighting, they're throwing blows. I tell you what, as Meeks not happy, what is he going to do as he comes to the rear end of the 73? This is not where you want someone that's mad at you, is behind you.
I think that he's just going to pull the same move that Lucido just pulled on him. He's going to tuck down to the inside through the second dog leg and make him 3 wide at some point. You know, at Atlanta, at most super speedways, I kind of frown upon it, but Atlanta, with the way that the front end is lined up, we were talking about the quad oval being so stupid. With the way that it's lined up, I don't blame him. I'd make that same daggum move going down to the inside. Oh, but he gets turned down to the inside of the racetrack through 3 and 4, side by side, now 3 wide. Hangs on to it, just gets a little sideways behind Meeks. Gonna stack up the rest of the field. King and Sabilo goes by on the outside. Garth Schneider tries to go by on the inside, but he gets held up by the 73. John Lucido's gonna have to recover now from the back.
What did I tell you? You don't want to have a guy that is mad at you behind you, because he, especially at a super speedway, you are at his mercy.
Oh, a little bit more problems towards the back of the pack. Jason Taylor got into the outside wall. Somebody else was smoking on the apron. It might have been Lucido again. I actually think it was Jeff, no, not Lucido, that was smoking on the inside of the racetrack. Couldn't quite tell what happened to them towards the back, but they're still racing up towards the front. Garth Schneider, the last car in this main pack now, is Hulawik, Taylor, and Kennison, and Jeff No have all fallen off of our lead pack here.
Yeah, I don't think these guys know this is a no-smoking facility.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Side by side on the racetrack here, as you see James Harris making the top side work, getting a really good run with the help of Andrew Hale. Hale, his race didn't look very good earlier, but now he is back in action in the Mass Pro 4.
Yeah, Brad Thacker went head on to the outside wall not too long ago. Now finds himself fighting for that 5th place position. Their 3rd car in line on the outside, side by side with Tyler Meeks. Meeks gets a little loose coming in at turn number 1, able to hang on to that thing. They're 3 wide further back in the back of the pack. Keegan Sabilo gets a touch on the outside wall, just a little bit of a brush. He's going to fall back in line, just try to hold on to the back end of this trap.
Yeah, tons of battling still underway here. We have, I do believe now, 30 laps to go, coming up to 29 to go. And they have shown no sign of slowing down here. Stacker seems to be a little bit loose up on that top side as he's followed by Brandon Ball. Of course, Harris still trying to make that line work. It looks like William Mann Jr. has found his place on the bottom line, along with George Young. Young's looking really strong as well.
And we're on board with Keegan Sabilo. We were on board with Keegan Sabilo. He's been trying to make it 3 wide here on the outside lap after lap, trying to get that 3rd groove working, trying to get himself back up to the front of the field, just has not been able to do it. But I feel like with, 28 laps to go here this time by, I feel like Sabilo should just save that right front tire a little bit. And once these guys get done racing up front and they start wearing out that right front tire, I think that he'll be able to really challenge these guys. As John Lucido's still not done. He's just made it 3 wide in between Brandon Ball and I believe that's Nicholas Casey on the inside of the racetrack. He's just not content with riding in the back of the pack. Oh, he's hooked Tyler Meeks into the outside fence. King and Sabilo involved heavy into the outside wall. Multiple drivers involved in that one going down into turn 3.
And this one could have championship implications. There are going to be a lot of angry people after this. As you can see, Keegan Sabilo, engine is going away right now. He has just grenaded that engine. He was not in this drama at all, but unfortunately, he was kind of just bad luck, I guess you could say. Let's take a look at it. You see, Lucido just came down a little bit too low and caught the side there, the right side of the 7.
Yeah, Lucido trying to get that side draft off the 7. 7 obviously not happy. They've come together multiple times here over the course of the last 10 laps. Finally, it all comes to blows coming out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. And Lucido has a little bit of contact in the left rear quarter panel as well, coming down to try to side draft. So it could have turned him down to the 7 of Meeks, but I couldn't quite tell if it's that he came down to side draft and then that Nicholas Casey got into the right rear more so, or if he just came down too far. You can see they're just not happy with each other, still hitting each other coming out of turn number 4 on the replay.
Yeah, I don't think that they are very happy with one another, but I'll tell you what, I don't really care how happy they are or unhappy with each other they are. I'll tell you who should be really unhappy is Keegan Sabilo. I mean, if you have drama on the racetrack, if there's something that I first of all wanted to say that this may or may not have been on purpose. I don't know. I have no idea. But if it was, it definitely should not have hurt the championship, right? I mean, the 2 championship drivers, Andrew Hale and Keegan Sabilo, who are going for a title. I mean, this is really heartbreaking for Keegan Sabilo. This could be his chances right here.
Still looking on board with Meeks. I mean, that was definitely a tough one. Looking at the replay once again. I mean, again, he comes down to side draft. He actually didn't have contact with the 86 from the other viewpoint. It looked like there was, but it looked like there was room on that one. So, dude, I don't think that would have been on purpose at a super speedway, right rearing somebody, but it was definitely a misjudgment. But I mean, obviously, all this is on purpose. Yeah, this is two guys just really angry with each other under caution. I mean, on that one, I don't blame Tyler Meeks, right? I'd be pretty pissed off too if I got right rear down the straightaway at a super speedway. I've been right rear down the straightaway at a super speedway. It doesn't feel good.
Well, I'll tell you this. Luckily, Keegan Sabilo is still on the lead lap. He had a faster pair left, so that's man. I'll tell you what. I bet Keegan had a tough time, breathing through that one. I mean, that's when like your spotter's got to tell you, hey, buddy, count to 10, deep breaths, man.
Yeah, but it does kind of flip the championship standings at this point. I mean, I know we don't have live standings, but I can tell you right now, if we did, Andrew Hale would be ahead of Keegan Sabilo by about 7 or 8 points. So if these guys finish where they're running right now, then that's kind of what we're going to be looking at going down into the last race of the season between Andrew Hale and Keegan Sabilo. Andrew Hale on the front row here, side by side with James Harris. Keegan Sabilo now having a fight from the back of the pack without that faster pair in his back pocket. I think Andrew Hale still has his. So Sabilo has a mountain to climb right here to be able to hold on to that points lead. We saw how difficult it was for him to get through the pack last time, and now he doesn't have that faster pair to fall back on. So it's going to be even tougher this time around.
No, I definitely agree. I'm right there with you. I mean, he struggled so badly to try to get by William Mann Jr. when he was even on the other tires. Passing has been very, very difficult at this racetrack. You have to really pick the right lines, and he just has to hope that he's with the right line to get through, and with the right drivers as well. So hopefully things will work out for him. We're getting ready to find out. I'll tell you what, emotions are high here at Atlanta.
And that's what you get with super speedway racing, tight quarter racing, bumping and banging, and a little bit of right rear action we saw on the last caution. Gonna see if that kind of carries over. Lucido back out on the racetrack, still on the lead laps. We've got nobody a lap down that has started the race. EJ DeBoer is multiple laps down, but he is actually completely out as we come back to the green flag. 24 laps to go this time by. James Harris easily takes the lead. Oh, Brad Thacker gets a little bit of a hip check coming through the tri-oval. Able to hang on to it, able to stay in line, but that was a little sketchy there between Thacker and Young.
Yeah, what a start there for Harris. He was able to really get a great launch there as Harris gets a pretty good bump from the 4. And I'm wondering if Hale and Harris are going to try to work together here. I think it'd be in Hale's best interest if they tried to link up. But look at this. One driver not wanting to link up is 29 of William Mann Jr. He moves up to the top, and unfortunately that position is taken by Brad Thacker, who's going to try to get up into the top 3, and he succeeds.
Yeah, and I know you've already mentioned this, but I really like that strategy call in hindsight from William Mann Jr. to put himself up towards the front of this pack. Yeah, there's not too many drivers in the field, right? We've got 15 here fighting for the victory, but it's still tough to pass. We saw Sabilo could not get through the field. Mann Jr. put himself up towards the front based off of strategy and has kept that thing up there even after coming down pit road and taking tires, getting on the same strategy as everybody else. So big credit to William Mann Jr. for that strategy call about 30, 40 laps ago, putting himself in a position here to where he can challenge for that race win against Andrew Hale and against James Harris.
Yeah, I definitely see if that plays out for him. Hopefully he can get himself a good finish. I mean, William Mann Jr. has definitely been a really great driver here in this series. He's had some bad luck occasionally, but glad that he shows up week in and week out, that's for sure, as he's being pushed by George Young up on that top side. Now, I'm curious to see, Tyler Meeks, can he get his way back through this field as well after being involved in that last accident, as we see Harris and Hale still working together well?
Well, Meeks was trying, but he just caught the fence through 3 and 4 last time by. Was not quite able to hold on to it, but he was able to finally get that thing off of the fence. Now just at the very back of the pack. But Keegan Sabilo is dropping off this lead pack. I'm sure he's got that faster pair, so I'm surprised to see him hanging back so far. I'd be a little bit worried about losing the draft from that distance, but I think he's just barely sniffing the back bumper of the 7 here through 3 and 4. Just a little sketchy to be that far off the back of the pack, but I think that he's thinking, I got to save my faster pair. They're not done wrecking.
I think I was just getting ready to say that. I was waiting on you to finish to say exactly that, but you took it right out of my mouth. I think he knows exactly what's going to happen, and it's getting close to happening here as we see Jason Taylor getting incredibly close to George Young. These guys are driving like they're getting ready to wreck here. As you saw Taylor got a little bit tight, almost got into Young.
Yeah, I got to correct myself. Sabilo's already used the fast repair, so he's just saving the truck for the end of this thing. If he gets another accident, he's screwed, man. I mean, if he finds any bit of damage on the front end of that 77, it's going to be a parachute. As we see Tyler Meeks diving way down on the apron, making it 3 wide, way back in the back of the pack, trying to get a position here from the 83. Not quite able to do it side by side now with Nicholas Casey. Hulwig kind of holding up the 7 right now. Tyler Meeks not able to find a way through.
Yeah, and I think maybe even Sabilo's trying to save his tire a little bit too, because we talked about how great William Mann Jr.'s strategy earlier was to stay out. Well, maybe that could be something that Sabilo does later as well. That he tries that when everybody else pops down pit road to grab a set of tires, he stays out. That could be a way to get some track position. And I don't know, though. Time's running out. I'm just spitballing.
No, that's a great point. If he saves tires and everybody else comes in, oh, man! There were 3 wide entering turn number 1. Nicholas Casey gets put in the fence.
Oh.
Now Tyler Meeks spins. Dan Hulwig coming out of turn number 2. Hulwig noses it into the inside fence coming out of turn number 2. And the caution is not come out. The green flag is still out going through 3 and 4, but Hulwig still stopped on the inside fence.
Yeah, it looks like the caution's not going to come out for that unless he comes back onto the racing surface. As we take a look back at the replay here. And you can see, yeah, Hulwig just gets tapped by Meeks, and I'm sure Meeks is hot right now. He's probably not in a great mood and not thinking clearly, and unfortunately Hulwig just paid a price because of it.
Yeah, the 63. I've been saying 83, I think, all night, but it's the 63. The font's messing with me a little bit, but I couldn't quite tell what happened entering turn 1, but that's whenever they first came together. It was just a little bit before that replay, but William Mann Jr. up at the front of the field, side by side with James Harris. We were talking about at the entry of, at the beginning of our broadcast here tonight, we've got a perfect 6 for 6 of new winners here so far in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Well, guess what? The entire top 6 have not won a race yet this season, so we're looking good to maybe find race winner number 7 tonight.
I don't think I've ever seen a league have something like this happen. If we go unique winners the entire season, wouldn't that be just absolutely nuts? As we have the 73, Lucido going to make things complicated, and he doesn't get out of the way. They have to part the Red Seas.
And, James Taylor. I keep saying James Taylor. Jason Taylor gets into the side of John Lucido there, entering turn number 1. Both of them able to hang on to it, but that was a sketchy moment coming down to turn 1. Jason Taylor just getting caught sideways, sliding that thing all the way through the corner, able to hang on to it. But our lead pack is kind of splittered now. It's only about 6 drivers up in the main pack, another 3 that have a chance to find themselves back into it, just barely off of our 6 leaders. So I think we're going to have about a 9-car race to the finish here.
And surprisingly, Taylor was able to save that right there, but that did cost him to lose the draft here. Of course, Nicholas Casey has lost the draft as well, as they are still packed like sardines for the top 6 or 7 here. I do believe Jeff No hanging off the back end of this actually group. So he's doing pretty good. I know he hasn't had the best race here, but he's been a consistent driver. I got to give him a lot of credit, Jeff No.
Sorry, I said everybody in the top 6 doesn't have a win. I think Andrew Hale has a win. He won the 2nd race of the season, but I was not here for that, so I forgot about that one. But everybody else up in the top 6 fighting for their first victory on the season, trying to make it a perfect 7-4-7. And we got to talk about it one more time because Keegan Sabilo, after those accidents, has completely lost the main pack and does not have any more positions he can really gain. Maybe one that is in between our lead pack and the pack that he is in currently that has no drafting help that he could maybe find a spot on. But if I'm Andrew Hale now, being that I'm 2nd place in the point standings, 4 points behind Keegan Sabilo, and Sabilo cannot make up any more ground, stuck back in that 12th place position, the 11th place position, I would be thinking from the driver of the number 4 that he's just going to take this thing careful. Make sure that caution doesn't come out, doesn't give Lucido a chance to get, Sabilo a chance to get back into this thing and pick up more spots, and just push the 55 of Harris to the race lead. I feel like if he just minds his P's and Q's and doesn't cause the accident, then he could find himself with the championship lead going into Las Vegas next week.
I don't know, though. I feel like he's got, a pack of cars all around him. It's going to be very difficult to try to be cautious here. And think about this too. We're about 27 laps into this run. Tires are going to be starting to hurt pretty bad right now. And we saw when they started hurting, everybody started getting real wiggly. Everybody started getting real loose as Hale gets a little bit tight.
Yeah, you can see them start washing up the racetrack. To your point, they're starting to lose that right front tire just a little bit, having to run a little bit harder into the corner, trying to keep up with the pack. It looks like they're going to be 3 wide here, going down into turn number 1. 10 laps to go, this time by able to sort it out there, going down into turn number 1. Andrew Hale, hold on to it, but William Mann Jr. goes sideways in front of George Young. He's able to save it on the brakes just a little bit, keeping it out of the outside fence. But now that front pack is completely splintered. We've got a 5-horse race for the lead.
Yeah, this makes it a lot more less likely for a caution, but that also was really weird that William Mann lost it like that. That makes me think that, I don't want to say it, probably people think I'm silly, but tire failure? I don't know.
I think he just got a little loose. Andrew Hale had pulled up in front of him, and that was the first corner. He had a driver in front of him in plenty of laps, and I think that maybe he got pushed off the nose of the 48 as well. So? There might have been a little bit of a nudge. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a bump draft, but it's just in the middle of the corner through 1 and 2 at Atlanta. It's a tough corner to get a bump in the center of the in the center of it. It's just kind of coming around as the banking is going away. Still couldn't quite tell there on that replay if it had happened or not, but he got shoved out to the outside groove and tucked it back down, trying to hold the lane. Was not quite able to do it.
I don't know. I think he just got loose. I don't think he got touched. I don't think that's what, I think he got touched after he got loose. Of course, unfortunate for William Mann. Had such a great race coming up to him. Look at that, what that has caused for Keegan Sabila. It's given him a little ray of hope. He's now up to 8th.
Yeah, there's been a couple drivers that he's been able to pass off of that. I believe there's one more truck that they're going to pass, the 47 of Ray Kinnison, who is by himself in between the 2 packs. That second pack of 5 drivers is going to be able to pass the 47, which Sabilo's leading it right now, right? So he's going to pick up this one more position. But on the last lap, he could get passed by a couple other guys. So he's not necessarily guaranteed that 7th place position that he's about to take. So he's still got to be on the defensive, just try to hold on to as many points as possible. And now that Andrew Hale sees that Sabilo's been able to gain a couple positions, I think that he's got to be a little bit more on the front foot. Sitting back in that 5th place position at this point, he's got to do a little bit more. Try to finish up in the top 3 to give himself at least a tie going into that last race.
Yeah, this is definitely going to make it really intense as we come in. I do believe now 6 laps to go. Coming up to 5 to go next time by. Harris, of course, trying to win. But I'll tell you what, Brandon Ball, he's in position to possibly make something happen here. The 17 machine has led a couple laps up here at the top of the board, and running some really fast laps, too.
Yeah, getting a good shove there from Jeff No. We saw Jeff was really good at Talladega just about a month ago. I believe he finished in the 3rd place position, so we know Jeff No has a prowess for these super speedway races as Brad Thacker under him gets just a little loose. And the only one in the front pack that has won a race this season is Andrew Hale. Oh, Brad Thacker gets into the side of Jeff No coming through the corner, and he takes out Andrew Hale. They're sideways. Andrew Hale goes hard into the outside fence. That's going to bring out the caution for sure, as Andrew Hale's front end is completely gone. Jeff No is destroyed, and the caution flag comes out as the leaders enter turn 3.
Wow. That is a absolute heartbreaker for Andrew Hale. Does he make it back to pit road to get the damage repaired if he's got a fast repair? Look at this heart. Oh, that is heartbreaking. And I think I saw the engine let go. I'm wondering if he's going to make it to pit road.
Well, he's still got the engine in it, actually. He's rolling past pit road currently as we speak.
He's got everything but the engine.
Well, he's got just the engine. But you see Brad Thacker comes up off the top, or off the bottom of the racetrack, just gets the left side of Jeff No. Jeff just could not hang on to it. Comes down the racetrack, and both those drivers with massive impacts really hurting their chances here. I think Jeff No's engine might have let go completely. I don't think that he was able to hold on to that thing. Yeah, he just had to take the tow back to pit road. Andrew Hale, I know that he got in the fence earlier, so I don't know if he used that fast repair yet. For his sake, I hope he didn't, because he's going to be losing a lot of points in the championship standings at this point.
And you see, Jeff No got loose. I think, of course, after having some contact before that with, I think it was Brad Thacker, and Jeff just was kind of slowly coming down the track, and Andrew just had nothing he could do. Let's see if Andrew had a fast repair, because if he used it, like you said when he touched the wall earlier, it's very easy to do that. It's very easy to have that thing automatically clicked, and you forget to click it off, and you use it on accident, and we're getting ready to find out.
Oh, Andrew Hale's left front tire is completely destroyed. He's tried to get it into his pit stall, having to take a second stop. He does have that fast repair. And now that we know that Andrew Hale has the fast repair, we're going to take our final commercial break of the racing action tonight, or during racing action tonight. 3 laps to go. Stay with us. We've got a green-white checkered on the other side of the break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. We've got a hell of a finish on order for you guys tonight. Brandon Ball is going to lead us to that green flag as James Harris lines up on the outside. Brad Thacker, in third place on the inside. George Young on the outside in fourth. Everybody in the top four has not seen victory lane this season. James Harris has come close on multiple occasions. Can he get it done here tonight? We've got a green-white checkered ready to go as the pace car pulls off down to pit road, hopefully for the final time tonight, into the restart zone. Brandon Ball slams the gas pedal, comes to the green flag. We've got 2 laps to go from Atlanta.
George Young got really loose on that restart. Some wheel spin there. We're side by side for the lead. Brandon Ball, though, with the advantage. He's got the 56 right behind him. Now, James Harris does not have any help. He wants to win this race. I know it. And look at Keegan Sabilo back up in the top 4. He's going to try to go for the top 3. Can he get underneath the 56 here?
Brandon Ball covers the inside, trying to hang on to the preferred groove here on older tires. Brandon Ball leading us back down out of turn number 4 to the white flag. Last time, taking the start-finish line under green. Brandon Ball gets a huge push there from Brad Thacker right behind, coming down into turn 1. They're 3 wide, entering turn number 1. Tyler Meeks all the way on the inside. Ping pongs Keegan Sabilo, who hangs on to it through 1 and 2, but he drops through the pack. Now he's sideways, wrecking. Andrew Hale's in it as well. Both championship contenders wrecking down the back straightaway as James Harris gets a push from George Young going down into the corner, and everybody's wrecking. George Young, Brandon Ball, both sideways. Tyler Meeks to the inside of James Harris as they wreck behind. They're sideways, beating and banging to the line. Tyler Meeks takes it through the grass. I don't know who won it. William Mann Jr. at the line is going to win it over Tyler Meeks and James Harris.
Wow. William Mann Jr. I thought James Harris was going to have saved it enough to get across the line, but he did not. And William Mann had enough speed to drive by him and get that victory. William Mann Jr., if I'm not mistaken, makes our 7th unique winner in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series.
And William Mann Jr. is going to be the only happy driver in Discord tonight. Everybody else is going to be mad. Everybody else is furious. I can tell you right now. Now, the big thing about the championship, Keegan Sabilo ends up crossing the line, getting out of that wreck a little bit better than Andrew Hale. Hale finishes in the P10 position. Keegan Sabilo finishes 8th. So Sabilo should open up that championship lead by just a few points. He was up by 4 coming into tonight. Probably going to jump to about 6, 7, or 8, depending on bonus points. But William Mann Jr. is burning it down here on the front straightaway of the Atlanta Motor Speedway after an absolutely mind-numbing green-white checkered finish, which saw the entire pack wreck except for the 29.
Isn't that just nuts? I mean, William Mann, he just found himself in the right place at the right time, but he had such great speed all race, and he had awesome strategy as well, so he earned it. I'm not saying he lucked into it, but I'll tell you, he did have a little bit of luck involved there as well, but he made some awesome decisions tonight too.
Yeah, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, but we're going to have to look at the final race rundown. William Mann Jr. brings it home with the win. Tyler Meeks in second with a side-by-side battle with James Harris. You thought it was going to be one of them coming out of turn 4, but they just could not agree on space coming out of the corner. John Thacker brings it home in 4th with Brandon Ball in 5th, Ray Kinnison 6th, Jason Taylor 7th, Keegan Sabilo in 8th, George Young 9th, and Andrew Hale rounds out your top 10. Ooh, but we're going to take this opportunity to take it to commercial break one last time before we interview our top 3. Going to be a lot to talk about between James Harris and Tyler Meeks, and obviously our 7th race winner in 7 races on the season. We're going to get to talk to William Mann Jr. after this. back live from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to catch a quick replay of that final lap from the onboard of William Mann Jr. The action all kicked off, honestly, right next to him here coming out of turn number 2. He gets doored from Ray Kennison coming out of the corner. I believe, yeah, you see him get doored just a little bit there in the right rear, able to hang on to it, and they all wreck behind him, looking at that mirror, seeing everybody spinning to the inside of the racetrack. Tyler Meeks up in front, puts it 4 wide, entering turn number 3, cannot get back on the racetrack. It gets Brandon Ball sideways, up into George Young. They get a lot of contact in the outside fence, and then up on the bottom of the racetrack, we see James Harris and Tyler Meeks come together. The C's part for William Mann Jr., who comes across the line to win the race. James Harris just kind of pushes Tyler Meeks down to the bottom of the racetrack. A little bit much coming out of the corner, but Tyler Meeks probably shouldn't have even been down there after he made the 4-wide move on the apron before they got to turn 3. But either way, William Mann Jr. comes home with the win.
You know, the thing about it is William Mann showed such great driving ability through there. I mean, wreck avoidance. I mean, that's the biggest word that comes to mind. I mean, he dropped to the apron right in time. Weaved through these crashes. I mean, this guy showed some really awesome driving right there. He was a wheelman in that last lap.
Yeah, well, we're going to have this opportunity now. We're going to... Sorry, I've got to catch my breath. That was an absolutely insane finish. I think we're going to have to pull up our third-place finisher. James Harris is going to be the first one that we get to interview here tonight. So close yet again. James Harris. What in the world, man? What are you going to have to do to win one of these things?
Stay away from Tyler Meeks, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a bold move from Meeks entering turn number 3 to put himself 4 wide, entering the corner. There's a little bit of contact with a couple guys behind you. Somehow he keeps the momentum coming up, and all of a sudden y'all are side by side coming off at turn 4. Can you just walk us through what was going through your mind through 3 and 4, and what maybe you could have done different to come home as the victor?
Well, I'm going to rewind it back just a hair back to turn 2 on that last lap where chaos started to happen. We was beating and banging, and I think Brandon Ball started to spin. I don't know if he caught it. It went out of my view, but I didn't see anybody around us. George was pushing me. I was like, hell yeah, I finally got this for Cherie. I can do this. And I was pumped, and then I see Tyler down there. Everybody else wrecking, so my only thought was to just side draft the most I could off of him, try to slow him down, and then we were just beating and banging and lost control, and I thought I was going to win it sideways, but old man beast there come around me and took the win.
Well, it still speaks to the parity of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. I mean, we've got 7 different winners in 7 weeks, and you've probably led the most laps of anybody on the season and haven't gotten a W yet. What do you have to do different going into our final race of the season next year to turn your season around and end it with a W at Las Vegas?
Pull Tyler Meeks and wreck everybody? No, to be honest, I don't know if y'all could tell or not, but I was so determined to win this race tonight. This was probably the most aggressive race I've ever had in iRacing in the 4.5 years I've been here, and I'm trying not to tear up just thinking about it, and I want to get this win so bad for Cherie, for her family, for my friend. Third, to me, it's good for the points, but to me, it's a big loss because I really want to get this W. So we're going to practice our ass off before next week at Vegas. And you thought I was aggressive tonight? Just wait till next week.
Well, I'm sure it's a tough pill to swallow, but still a P3 finish is not bad, all things considered, with you wrecking across the line. So still, congratulations bringing it home in 3rd place, and I hope you can get it done next week, man. I know it's the last race of the season, and you've been knocking on the door all year long, all 7 races so far. So good luck next week, and I hope we get another chance to interview you. Are there any shout-outs you can give here at the end of this one?
Yeah, I want to give a shout-out to my wife. She supports all my iRacing habits, and without her, I wouldn't have been able to do this. Kevin Kirscher of Blackstone Management, Champion Power Equipment, Green Mountain Grills. I want to thank the entire Roberts and Williams family for just being there for everybody this past week through the rough time. And Cherie was a fantastic woman. She loved everybody, even if she barely knew you. It's a fantastic family. I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna get it for her. Don't worry, it's coming.
Well, still, congratulations on the top 3, and we hope that you can get it done for her next week. Looking forward to seeing you in Vegas.
All right, man, appreciate it.
All right, that was our 3rd place finisher, James Harris. Just cannot believe this man seems to be leading this thing coming down to the end just about every single week. Has not been able to get it done just yet. I can't find our 2nd place finisher anywhere, so I don't think that we're going to have the opportunity to interview Tyler Meeks. So, Brian, would you like to take our race winner, or would you like me to have it?
I mean, I'll take the honor if you're giving it to me.
Hey, you can have it. William Mann Jr. is going to be standing side by side with Brian Britt.
William Mann Jr., you make the 7th unique winner in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series season this year. I mean, I mean, you guys, everybody has been getting wins here, but you come out with, just an amazing feat of driving there on that last lap. We look back at it through your cockpit. You had to avoid, what was it, like 3 different crashes in order to find yourself in victory lane. What was going through your head, brother?
Yeah, well, first off, my sponsor for this truck, the Druid, is a new upcoming indie film. So apparently we were filming scenes for the next Days of Thunder, because that's how I came to the checkered right there. Holy cow. Man, I thought it was a road course going through those wrecks right there.
Exactly. That's what I'm kind of talking about. Yeah, what was going through your mind?
Man, I just want to be back up front. All night I ran up front, having a blast, making some passes, making moves. This is, almost over 2 years of this league, and I've had so many chances to get wins and come up short. I hate for it to be like this instead of me battling James like I did all night. But I'm glad to kick the monkey off my back and tell him leave me the heck alone.
Oh, wow. So I didn't realize that this is actually your first win in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. So that's a big milestone for you here. And I wouldn't kick yourself too bad about how you got it, because you had to earn it. You had to dodge all of that, man. One of those accidents you got caught up in, you would have not won this race. And also, like you even attested to, you were running side by side with them for the entire race. You also made a strategy call we saw earlier in the race that got you into the track position, that you stayed out on I do believe, a few, I can't remember exactly how old your tires were, but you had stayed out, and it worked out perfectly for you. Yeah,
we had that early caution, I think about after 10 or 15 laps, and nobody else pit. Everybody else was getting ready to, nobody pit that first one except for me and Thacker. And we came out 1 and 2 after the second yellow came out, because I think we had about 10 laps on the tires. But he had got damaged, so he had to get some repairs anyways. But I figured, heck, let's risk it. Instead of having to fight and push people out the way and risk tearing the trucks up, let's just pit with Thacker and see if we can't squeak one out. And it worked out good.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly. I mean, it was a great strategy. It got you to track position. It got you into the conversation, because, I mean, you were very impressive. Me and Austin were saying it all night long how impressed we were with you, William. So what does this do? Do you think this, in following seasons or even next week, do you think this just lights a fire underneath you to get more?
I always want to win, man. I run leagues most nights of the week, and I've had the luxury of being with these guys for a long time running. So, man, anytime I can really stick my foot in the door and kick it open, I'm going to go for a win. And tonight we felt good. I love Atlanta. I love plate racing. And tonight just kind of, the truck just worked out in our hands. The setup was great, and the field ran good. For the most part, everybody kept good respect in the first half. It got kind of squirrely after the second half of the race, but like I said, that late run had worked out in our favor, dodging these wrecks, and feels good to get back in victory lane the first time in this series.
Yeah, we're definitely proud of you, man. Congratulations on the victory, William. How you feeling about Vegas next week?
Well, we're going to roll the dice, see if we can't do 2 in a row. I mean, we started a fire. We got to keep building now.
That's right. Love your attitude, William. Who can we give a shout out after this first victory here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series?
Champion Power Equipment guys, always for sponsoring everything. James being the main guy that puts everything together. The sponsor above the rear tires, Man's Maintenance, is my family business. It's the one that pays for us to play the way, so always them. And you guys for taking care of us and doing a great job broadcasting.
All right, thanks, William. You have a great night, man. Congratulations.
All right, brother. Thank you, guys.
That was William Mann Jr., driver of the 29, and he has turned some heads tonight, Austin.
Oh, absolutely. Great wreck avoidance on the last lap, getting a little bit of contact coming out of turn number 2, able to hang on to it, and then able to miss the big bit of mayhem coming out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway as our 2 leaders came together. William Mann Jr. was there to pick up the scraps. He put himself up towards the front all night off of strategy, and then kept himself up there off of speed, able to bring home the victory here in the 29. Big congratulations to William Mann Jr. I do believe that we're going to have to check out our schedule. Maybe we don't have the schedule for this week. Yeah, we're going to check out our schedule one more time. My bad. I thought we were signing off there for a second, but we're going to check out our schedule here. Coming up this week, we just ran the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here at Atlanta. The Thunderclap Series returns tomorrow night from Daytona International Speedway. Can't wait to get that one kicked off at 8:30 Eastern. And then finally, on Thursday, the Stars Championship Series takes on Road Atlanta at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then on Friday, we return to the Atlanta Motor Speedway as the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split NIS Open will be broadcast at 8 p.m. Eastern. We hope to see you at each of those events. But now, for Brian Britt and Austin Derbyshire, who got to call and work the cameras for a hell of a race alongside of me, Austin Edstrom, I would like to sign off. And I don't even know what to say, man. It's just been such of a heck of a season for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Couldn't ask for a better penultimate race. Can't wait to get the season finale kicked off next week. We'll see you then.